Welcome to STARCARD Podcast. Here at STARCARD Podcast, we get a glimpse at the age of Aquarius ahead of us. We also examine the worlds of education and workplace ethics. My name is Breakaway Ray. I like talking about the breakaway civilizations because we're breaking away from the one we have now. You've tuned in to a live tarot throw. Today is November 11th, 2025. Across the United States, we're celebrating Veterans Day. I'd like to salute all the men and women in the armed forces in the past and in the present and in the future. Thank you very much, everybody. And around the world, maybe we could all recognize the old-fashioned Armistice Day. I believe that was November 11th, 1917, after the Great War, now known as World War I. In any case, everybody, on this special occasion, I've got 5 tarot cards for you. So let's go to the tarot cam. So let's get your 5 cards right away for November 11th, 2025. Hey, Tarot World. I know you've been waiting for me to throw some tarot cards. Everyone in our STARCARD Podcast collective, whether they're tuning in now or catching this on the recording later, they would love to have a message from you. What do we got going here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I asked for 5 and I got 9. How am I going to do this? I'm going to take these 5 and then I'm going to put these over here for gravy. Let's see what happens. Stranger things have happened. I mean, this is all for entertainment purposes only. Let me adjust my lights. How do I like this? Thank goodness it's getting bright out today. It's already dawn. All right, that'll work. Here we go. 5 cards for you, everybody. Let's see. 5 cards and a bonus pile of 4 of them. Let's find out what happens. These are your 5 cards, everybody. Let's see what's going on. The Ace of Cups. How lovely. It's a new beginning, a proposal, a marriage. It's not just a beginning. It's a wonderful beginning. And there's like something enough there for us all to feel emotional about. I realize it's only Tuesday. It's not like it's the beginning of the week. Maybe it's just the beginning of a new adventure. We have the Wheel of Fortune, and the Wheel of Fortune talks about luck. It talks about cycles going up and down. Luck can be good luck. Luck can be bad luck. But anyway, it's all there. Maybe we're on the beginning of a lucky streak. That would be cool. All right. I'm feeling it, everybody. It's the Hermit, and the Hermit talks about solitude and exploring the subconscious because only you know what's going on inside your mind. Others would have to make an effort to spend the energy to find out if they really wanted to probe and remote view and do telepathy. But what I'm getting so far is we're lucky because we're about to start a new adventure by turning inward to find something valuable, something shiny and bright, not quite a star, but we're the one holding it. We're the one in charge. This goes along with what I have planned to go over today later. But anyway, let's finish the 5-card message. All right. Here is the word strength. So that's like an exclamation point. We are really going to dig in deep. We are really going to be lucky. We're really going to be able to start something new. I like this because, again, it matches up with what's going to be coming our way, I hope. Oh, yay. And then here is the Lover's card. Whoa, hey, oh. Sorry, everybody. A little early for that. So remember, I'm not used to this deck yet. So here is the Lover's card. And the Lover's card talks about the strength of 2 together. And I'm going to say there's a whole lot more than that. Usually when I see the Lover's card and the 2 of Cups card, for example, I'm getting the message that not only is the spirit world here, but it's giving us a big hug. And check it out. Remember, all these cards came out all at once, right? They all kind of popped out while I was praying. And then there's a nice ascension of a message here about what we're about to discover on the inside. It's like we're winning the lottery for real. All right, you guys. So that's the first part. Sure. Okay, great. I wonder what's going on with the dessert. We have, I'm going to need my glass for this. Oh, it's the Queen of Pentacles. Again, she's in a comfortable position. She's got everything she needs and she can share. She's a working parent, a responsible parent, Oh, nice. And then right next to her is the King of Pentacles. We're talking about some kind of wealth here. We're talking about both sides of the family. Oh, yeah. I'm having so much fun. We just got started. Here is the Six of Wands. It's the public recognition card. And then finally, it's the King of Wands. And we got two kings out of this. The King of Wands is the guy that overcomes all obstacles. He sees the big picture. So I'm sure no one's going to go back and watch this show 2 times, but it would have been better had this whole thing happened at the end of the show after I went over all the things I wanted to talk about today. So anyway, we're going to bring to life something new. We're fortunate at this time that we're able to do this. We're going to empower ourselves by using our subconscious to the max. And we've got the spirit world working together with us. We have ancestors on both sides of the family that we can publicly recognize. Ancestors, spirit guides, loved ones, family in the spirit world, right? We have family in the spirit world that we can recognize as helping us overcome all these obstacles. All right, right on, Robin Wood Tarot deck. Thank you, Tarot World, for that lovely opening to today's show. Let's give these a toss. So I want to show a couple of cards to the group. So here is the Four of Cups. Trying to get you guys a good, still experimenting with the light here. Let's go like that for now. Okay. So here is the Four of Cups from the stained glass deck. And this is one of the decks I was using when I was just learning. And I'm looking at this guy, I'm thinking, all right, I see at least 3 cups there. Maybe there's a 4th cup. He looks like he's in a nice place. He's enjoying a refreshing drink. He's in a peaceful place of solitude. I wasn't, in other words, I wasn't thinking to myself positive or negative. It looks kind of positive. It looks kind of normal to me. I mean, sometimes people would go to a bar for a drink and they would just sit there with their drink, and that's relaxing, right? So let's take a look at the rest of the cards in sequence here. Then we have the Five of Cups. All right, so I kind of like where this guy's sitting and drinking because he's out on the patio. It's like a bar with a patio area. He's got a couple of drinks. There's more drinks than he needs, but it doesn't have the same connotation. It didn't have the same connotation to me as it does now when we compare it to the Five of Cups in the other deck. Some of the other decks, there's greater emphasis on the disappointment. But for both of these look very 3D to me, very real to me, without the polarity. There's not like a lot of polarity there. They're just, it's all mixed together. There's the peacefulness, there's the solitude, there's something refreshing, and it looks like something's on that guy's mind. It sounds like a regular happy hour for Breakaway Ray back in the 1990s. Let's take a look at the rest of these cards. So here is the Six of Cups. That looks more familiar to us with the young person and the exchange of something between that person and an older person there. Still lovely images. Okay. Then there's the Seven of Cups, many opportunities. And you can see it's got lots of colors. It's pretty exciting. I know it looks kind of blurry a little bit there. I don't see like a person in the foreground, taking a look at all the opportunities. But then we look at the Eight of Cups. Now, remember, the Eight of Cups guy was the walkaway guy. So now the Eight of Cups, you have the man with the back to us, kind of like you see in the Seven of Cups and other decks. But also with the Eight of Cups too, right? That guy's walking away, but he doesn't look like he's walking away from cups. I can't even tell that he's walking barely. Anyway, lovely images, but you can see how your story can kind of change depending on what deck you use. But I want to explore the Four of Cups especially because when I first started, this card appealed to me because it felt like I was like looking in a mirror, at the end of the work week, for example. And I'm not suggesting or advocating that people take up that hobby of going to a bar and having a drink. I'm just saying that it happens. So now I'm going to put these cards aside. And as usual, I spent a good hour before I turned on the camera preparing some notes. So let's come back upstairs. Hi, everybody. All right. I'm checking out to make sure I've got all my thoughts covered so that when I throw tarot cards for the subject I'm speaking about, everything makes sense to everybody tuning in. And then right after that, we're going to get to your tarot requests. I think we're doing good on time. Okay, so I talked about the Four of Cups. I'm looking down at my paper to make sure I didn't miss anything here. Yeah, it was hard to see the polarity in the image. It's all there, but does the Four of Cups person recognize anything? Or is he, in fact, dissociating, right? He's just kind of sitting there. He's not even looking at all the cups, and his mind is off somewhere else, right? Dissociation, perhaps? Okay. Then there was the Eight of Cups, which is when you're walking away from something and you're pursuing a path to a new situation. I don't have an Eight of Cups card to show you, but remember, that's the guy. He's got the 8 cups. They look like there's a space. It looks like there's something missing, but no, all 8 cups are there. Nevertheless, the 8 of Cups guy, he's walking away from it, and he's going to find a new path. He's going to find a new set of cups. He's finding a new situation. All right. So where am I going with all this? So I came up with these thoughts this morning, so we're just going to go with it, right? It's probably a good idea. There's something called the monkey mind. If you're tuning in to STARCARD Podcast, you've probably heard of the monkey mind. But the monkey mind is kind of like that ongoing chatter in your brain that is just constant programming. It's like someone left the TV on in the other room, you forgot to turn it off, and you could at least put it on mute so I don't have to listen to that stuff all day. Anyway, so that's kind of what's going on. And I went on the computer and I've got some words I can share about the monkey mind, including ways that you can address it. And we're going to explore it some more with some things that I've learned. All right, so stand by. I'm just going to the other monitor over there to check out what I found on the computer. Here we go. Characteristics of a monkey mind. I'm going to do this off camera. Enjoy the studio view, everybody. Here we go. Characteristics of a monkey mind. Restless and agitated. The mind is constantly busy and can't settle. Easily distracted. It jumps from one thought to another, making it difficult to concentrate on a single task. Anxious and scattered. This can manifest as a feeling of being on edge, unfocused, or mentally fatigued. Internal critic. It can be linked to the ego, which often focuses on self-doubt and negative self-talk. I'm going to interrupt this part right there to share some wisdom I learned from watching the Typical Skeptic podcast. If I could remember the gentleman's name, I'd definitely say it right now. But that gentleman that I saw on Typical Skeptic podcast said that, when you hear a voice inside your head and he's like talking trash and cutting you down, okay, that's not your higher self. Okay, your higher self loves you and never talk that way to you. So as soon as you hear messages like that, you need to reconsider where you're hearing that from. You need to turn that tarot card upside down. Okay, let's go back over to the computer so I can finish reading about the monkey mind. Characteristics of the monkey mind: focus on the external. The mind may fixate on external things and what cannot be controlled, leading to frustration and disempowerment. Monkey mind, we've all been there. Now, the computer gives us some tips on how we can address the monkey mind. So we're just going to start with what the computer has to say. I'm surprised the computer's saying anything. Why is the computer trying to help us with this? Anyway, let's go back over and read. Okay, ways to calm a monkey mind. Practice mindfulness and meditation. This involves paying attention to the present moment without judgment. Observe thoughts without getting carried away. Instead of fighting the thoughts, notice them and then gently guide your attention back to your point of focus, like your breath. Cultivate self-compassion. Acknowledge that having a wandering mind is a natural part of the human experience, rather than getting frustrated with yourself. Ground yourself in the present. Focus on what is happening here and now to stay centered. Use relaxation techniques. Incorporate relaxation methods into your daily routine. And finally, prioritize and focus on one task at a time. Set aside dedicated time for specific activities to build focus. Wow, even the computer there is saying focus on one thing at a time, which sounds like that law of karma. So I invite everyone to go check out the laws of karma again. On to the monkey mind. The monkey mind is natural. We all got it. But guess what? We have the power to control it. We have the power of consciousness. If you don't step up and do it, you're letting someone else do it for you. So let me check my notes and make sure I'm not missing anything here. Okay. All right. So we already talked about this one character called the monkey mind. I'm still focusing on something that happened at work. The situation with my family is still going on. What does my future hold? If I can't get this thing right, what's going to happen in the future? I can't believe that thing that happened to me 15 years ago. That's when the wheels really came off. That thing is still like influencing what happened in my life. Yada, yada, yada. There's your monkey mind. Wouldn't it be nice to wake up in the morning and know you got a clear mind, you got a blank slate, you could just address the day and start from there. How you start the day, especially in your mind, that really does affect, how your day plays out the rest of the way, doesn't it? Like if you get up in the morning and you watch your DVD recordings of your favorite comedians from the late night shows, you might be looking for more jokes the rest of the day. If you're out exercising and meditating, maybe without your earbuds, okay, just doing your mind, getting it on with your higher self there. Imagine how you're going to flow through the day like water, like we spoke of before, flow like water through the day because you're viewing it from your higher self's perspective and you can see what's going on and you're not taking anything too seriously. So to continue with these ideas, so again, we start with the monkey mind and then we go to a higher person. We're going to call this guy the Majordomo of the mind. A Majordomo is like a chief of staff, a head servant. So the Majordomo is going to approach the monkey mind and say, hey, I can see you got some things on your mind. You're a tremendous part of me. You're really important. At the same time, you need a coffee break. How about we take a little 15-minute break? Don't worry, I'll mind the shop. Everything's going to be okay. Offer that monkey mind a place to sit down and relax, because you've heard what the monkey mind has to say. You can even demonstrate for the monkey mind that you have been listening by writing down the things that the monkey mind is telling you. Writing down the things that are on your mind. If you write them down on paper, you're not worried about keeping them in your brain. You can always go back to them on paper. So you're dissociating those thoughts, you're separating them, you're putting them on paper so you can look at them later. Doesn't it sound a little bit like the Horcrux situation in the Harry Potter books, right? Taking a small slice of yourself and putting it someplace else for safekeeping. But meanwhile, you don't expect the Majordomo of the mind to run the show, okay? You need to have a new alter ego come in. Can we just say the word alter? Would that be all right? We need a new alter ego. So this is where we do something called reality transurfing. I hope I've got this terminology correct. Reality transurfing, you're going to choose a new personality. Why shouldn't you? Why can't you? Sure you can. So instead of having someone else hypnotize you or do mind control, yada, 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 create alters, we already have the ability to do it ourselves. We have the ability to go visit past lives, contemporaneous lives, future lives. We have the ability to pull in their strengths and we can support them in their pursuits in the time bubbles that they live in. So I would rather be the front altar. I would rather be the guy in charge. And I'm saying this monkey mind guy that I've given a break to, that's great. I need a new person for the new dynamics in my life. I need a new altar. And if you look up, I think it's reality transurfing. There's a gentleman who I read about maybe 15 years ago, 10 years ago. And he would convince his mind that he was this personality and he just went out and he lived his life like that person. And he would accomplish things by leaps and bounds because he was somehow commanding all the energies of that persona to do the things as wonderfully as someone in those professions would. He was a great photographer. He became a musician. We see this a lot with people that a lot of us look at as over accomplishers, people who are like they have multiple degrees and multiple talents. They're rock stars, but they're also lawyers, and they're also experts in languages. Moving on, you're going to make a list of criteria for the new person that you want to lead your show. And a good person to talk to about that would be your higher self during your ritual meditation, right? You're practicing controlling your mind. You're going to step outside yourself, step outside your thoughts when you recognize you're thinking about things and you're perseverating. You need to give it a break. And then you can redirect your energy and say, I need someone who can do this, someone who can be calm, cool, and collected, someone who has this credential, someone who practices or can do these things. And then you start developing that persona. Well, if the person I need is particularly good in math because he's going to be an accountant, what would someone like that do? And then you investigate math and classes in accounting and things like that, something to build up that next part of your career. Sometimes you have to have a long range view. It's good to have long range goals. I think it gives you something to live for, right? So I say the longer range the goal, the longer you're probably going to live. So keep stepping in that direction. Let me see what else I got here. So you've created some criteria about who your new altar is going to be. You might even want to give these people names at some point. Like you might want to address your monkey mind persona, give that person a name, a loving name, a respectful name, so that you know that you can speak to that person when he's like chiming up again and saying, hey, I got something to talk about. And then meanwhile, you can develop a new persona and give that person a new name. It could be a secret name on your inside, something that you remember, okay? Or maybe you're just adding the letters CPA after your name in your mind, because that's what you're going to do. You're aiming to be an accountant. So anyway, you have an innate ability to create an altar. We've discussed something called mind control, where other people capitalize on the altars of people. But I'm saying, let's beat them to the punch and let's use our altars to our own advantage. Turning my paper over now. So let's see, I got all that. I do have it all. Wait a second. I'm still checking my notes, everybody. Okay, so I know that we all go through different periods in our lives. You might be a college student. When the college student period ends, you go on to becoming, an employee, or even the head of a household or a parent, or, you might end up being a friend or a companion to somebody. And sometimes those lives end and change, especially in the transitory nature of the 21st century. And you have to move on to a new group of people, a new job, and things like that. All right, but then you're creating an identity for the new group of people that you're with. We do something like this all the time. Lots of us. There's something I learned about while I was in education called code switching, where people might speak with a particular kind of dialect in their home, in their neighborhood, with their family. But when they come to school, they know they have to use like academic language, and they can't use slang and vernacular because it's not the suitable place for it. So we do a form of this all the time, even if it's just by tiny degrees. So now I'm going to talk about some actual ways you could develop your ability to become the majordomo of your mind and create new altars and do reality transurfing. But I want to also say that if you're experiencing an ego death and you're thinking it sure takes a lot of work to create an altar and take on a new persona and all that, and I'm going to say, you know what, according to some people, some authorities for sure, you all have a 13 by 13 by 13 cubic bank of altars within your mind that you can call upon. That's 2,197 possible egos, for example. So in our short lifetimes here on Earth's surface, I don't think you're going to run out. All right. So the first thing I want to say is, remember you were listening to the monkey mind, and the monkey mind kept on going off and he wouldn't be quiet. All right. So we talked about writing. Well, let's do this for real. Let's take it seriously, right? I went out and got a notebook, and I do this all the time. Anyway, look at the book cover. It's kind of nice. I'm taking it seriously. I want to be able to pick up this book and have it charge me up in a positive way. I like the design on the book. So I'm going to get out my book, and then I'm just going to stop what I'm doing and turn off the radio, turn off the TV, close the door. My family can give me 10 minutes while I sort this out, right? So I grab my pen and I start writing what the monkey mind is talking about, listing the things that the monkey mind cares about. And then at that point, I can consolidate and look at it almost from outside. It's on paper. I know what that guy's talking about, but I also realize that this is short term. I'm an immortal spiritual being leading a temporary human existence. And even this part's going to be a tiny part of my existence here on earth. So let's hold on to this a minute. And now I'm going to grab my book again, turn a page, and I'm going to say, considering the things that the monkey mind had to say to me, what kind of superhero do I need to come in and solve this problem? Oh, okay, I am going to need an accountant. I am going to need someone who understands the law. I am going to need some friends, right? I'm going to need a friend to talk to. I'm going to need a friend who has experience with this. I'm going to need some time. Oh no, time. Where do I get time? You make time. Set time aside. Were you thinking you were going to watch 30 minutes of a sitcom you saw 10 years ago again tonight? Okay, not tonight. Tonight, you're going to get out the notebook. You're going to make criteria about the superhero you need in your life to help you change things. Because there's another law of karma that says you have to actively create life in order for it to change. Okay, so then you really did a good job so far with your notebook. And now another thing I would suggest, which is typical of Breakaway Ray, is that you become a playwright. You don't have to write down, no, don't get me wrong. It would be wonderful to write down all the things that the monkey mind and your new superhero alter ego has to say and what they want to describe, you know, the place where they're at, the setting that they're heading towards, the goal that they're heading towards. But in the meantime, a lot of us just dig dialogue, right? Some of us listen to podcasts all the time while we're doing other stuff. It's just two people talking, or in this case, one guy talking to himself. Okay. So why not start practicing writing dialogue as if, you know, you're like the same things you would see in your high school theater book. You know, one person talks, next person talks, next person talks. And then if you practice this for a while, you get really good at it. Your hand gets some good writing muscles. You don't get writer's cramps so much. You're communicating in a greater volume week after week. I did say week after week, it does take time. And you're also building up a connection from your mind and whatever's going on up there right to your hand. You're creating magic. There's nerves that connect. And now it's being transferred down to the paper, like Harry Potter's wand with the thoughts that go right into the pensieve. Look at it later, okay? Now, where's the tarot cards come in? Okay, so now we're going to go downstairs. How am I doing on time? Oh, sorry, a little bit long. Hang on, everybody. I'm almost done. Okay, so now you take some tarot cards. Okay, what if you're considering some things? So you got your notebook ready, you got your pen ready. I'm going to set it aside for a second to show you how I would suggest you organize things. You know, you're talking about starting a new reality. Okay, well, here's reality number one. It requires me to take some steps in this direction. Maybe it's a night class. Maybe it's going to the gym to meet people. Maybe it's volunteering at the Rec and Park District. Okay. At the same time, maybe there's this one where I try to renew a relationship I had in the past. Maybe it's a former employer, someone I work with, or someone else from my family. And maybe these two aren't exactly compatible because you either have to stay on one path or the other. And believe me, this works because I've seen it happen. I've talked about this in a podcast before about a job I was possibly available for a job coming up to school year, which I didn't get, because it didn't pan out or whatever. But I laid out cards one way and I laid out cards the other way. And then before I could choose either reality, the tarot world showed me exactly what it might look like and gave me a good idea. It really read the energies well. That's one suggestion. Then there's this one. You know, maybe you want to have a control. Hey, I don't know what's going on right now and where I'm going to go, but maybe the tarot world can show me, you know, what does my life look like right now? And then how does it compare 5 years from now? Maybe you have like something in your mind, whether it's your home, whether it's like your job or a car or a relationship or something like that. You know, what does it look like right now? That's your control. If they get it right up here, the tarot world always gets it right. If the tarot world gets it right up here, then you know exactly how to read these cards down here for 5 years from now. Let's try another one. I dig this one. Again, it affords me a couple of checks. It helps me understand how the tarot world is going to tell the story. I start with, show me the past regarding this person. Show me the past regarding my employment. Show me the past, when my parents were in college before I was born. Okay. Now show me that same thing in the present, and then show me what it looks like in the future. So you might get a lot of confirmation with these two if you know anything about them. And then that really helps color in what you see with the future. All right, let me get these out of the way. And then we're talking a lot about, the world around us, but let's not forget our hermetic sciences. Whatever's on the inside creates what's on the outside. So you could even ask the tarot world, it looks like I'm done with this altar, or this altar needs some help. I need to make some adjustments. I need to do some reality transurfing. What's going on the inside of my mind that I'm not recognizing, please? And then maybe we'll get a confirmation if you can show me what's going on the outside. So these are just some ideas. These are just some ideas about how you can handle involving the tarot world to learn more about your higher self, maybe even, your soul's path and where it's going. So the question I was posing is, isn't dissociation a superpower of consciousness? So I want to remind everyone about the famous hypnotherapist Dolores Cannon. And what I learned from reading her books is that you can be under hypnosis and you can look at an event and then you can separate yourself from the event. Like you could say, I want to go visit, June 18th, 1982, when I was at school, okay? And then you're doing that in your hypnotic trance. And let's pretend like something's going on. Maybe you're having a heated discussion with someone. But what you can do is you could say, all right, now I'm going to step outside and watch it as an observer. So you're not engaged in the event. You're not repeating and reliving the event. You're stepping outside and you're watching how you interact with that person, for example. And so that's an example of dissociation, and you're using it as a superpower to learn about what's going on. So I'm posing the question, isn't dissociation a superpower of consciousness? And the other turkey I got here says reality transurfing, or is it really exploring the power of DID? DID as a superpower, dissociative identity disorder. I'm using the word disorder and I'm linking it up with the word superpower. Well, if you call it a disorder, nobody wants to use it. Nobody wants a part of it, right? Except for the people that can exploit it. We're going to use it. You're not going to control your own altars. We will. Okay, so let's see what the tarot world has to say about that. Right after this, we'll get to tarot readings for the audience. Okay, tarot world, I gave it my best shot. I showed everyone how to write dialogues starring their higher self and their monkey mind and the new superhero born from their consciousness, like Hercules giving birth to Athena, I think it was. Was it Hercules? No. Who's the guy? Zeus. It was Zeus. Excuse me. Yeah, Hercules was part mortal, I remember. No, but it was Athena that climbed out of Zeus's brain. Anyway, that's a nice image. Athena, a superhero, the goddess of wisdom, and also a goddess of war. Okay, being born out of someone's mind, that's a good analogy for what we were talking about. Create a new person right out of your brain. Okay, thank you, Tarot World. That was a clever image to share. What else you got? This is all about exploring the power of DID. Isn't dissociation a superpower? About using the power of our mind to create new lives for ourselves. Okay, let's see what happens. Thank you, everybody. First up, it's the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups talks about compassion, comfort, calm, nurturing, healing, emotionally stable, intuitive, and caring. If we're going to approach what I've just been sharing with everyone, we have to behave like the Queen of Cups. We have to be calm. We have to pursue healing. And we are reminded that's going to take a lot of work. There are a lot of things that we have compartmentalized. And I would say maybe the older we get, the more is hidden. So the 10 of Wands says what we're approaching, what we're talking about here, it's not easy, but that doesn't mean it can't be done. And the Nine of Cups tells us that even though it's a lot of work, you got 9 cups there. It's a wish come true, creating a new self, right? A new alter ego, a new superhero right out of your mind. Here is the 5 of Swords, and we see different personalities. There's one guy walking away, there's one guy keeping his distance, and one guy being a thug and a bully, but he could also be representing someone being like a bouncer. No one's messing around over here. And this is the guy that you might need as a superhero taking over, to help you stick up for yourself. Yeah. Who saw that coming? Using 5 of Swords to our advantage. I didn't even turn the card upside down. Here we go. Talk about more hard work. Here is the 7 of Pentacles. It's not just more hard work. This is cultivating something. And this guy's got to be proud of the pentacles that he is cultivating. They look beautiful. Wow. And then the 9 of Pentacles says you can enjoy the fruits of your labor. And then finally, we're talking about using multiple personalities, but you're in direct connection with your higher self and the spirit world, and the universe loves you. And the 6 of Swords says we are being guided from rougher waters into calmer waters. So we're not doing this by ourselves. Source is right there with us. Wow, that was lovely. Thank you very much, Tarot World. Okay, I'm all excited. Hey, looks like I went a little longer than I planned. I hope it was still fun for everybody. We're now going to get to audience readings. I'm getting a piece of paper and a pen. Okay, here's my pen. All right, everybody. So I do really appreciate everybody's help in the chat. Sometimes I miss readings at the end of the show because there's such a volume of chat going on that, when the tarot requests go beyond. So anyway, I'm going to check now. I'm going to check one more time at the end. I don't want to miss anybody. Let's see what's going on. Ascending Universal Butterfly, good morning. I'm going to write you down. Who else? Hey, Julia Anchorhaven. All right. Hey, Julia, I was just thinking about your analytics. Some stuff getting kicked up over at your podcast. That's pretty awesome. Way to go. Let's see who else is in the chat, wants a reading. Heavenly Cups wants the stained glass deck. Cool. Hi, Heavenly Cups. Okay, I'm skimming around. I don't read the chat now. I read it after the show, but I'm skimming around, making sure, let's see, what have I got here? Okay. Thank you for the extra help out there in the chat, Ascending Universal Butterfly and Julia. All the supportive comments from everybody. That's a lot of hearts. Okay, so 08, Arizona Raven. I see you wrote down the Shaman's deck. I'm not sure which deck you mean, but I'll pick a good deck. Hi, Arizona Raven. Heavenly Cups. Oh, wait. Oh, the gold foil deck. All right. I see you're all helping each other out. Ascending Universal Butterfly. You want the gold foil deck. Got it. Okay. Then who else? What else we got going on? All right. So here's my list. I got Ascending Universal Butterfly with the gold foil deck. Julia Anchorhaven. Heavenly Cups wants a stained glass deck. And then as Arizona Raven. Yeah. Hi, Arizona Raven. I'll show you the decks one more time, Arizona Raven. There's the stained glass deck. There's the Robin Wood deck and the gold foil deck I'm about to throw with. So if you want to let me know which one you want, Arizona Raven. That's great. Otherwise, we'll pick a fun deck. All right, but first up, Ascending Universal Butterfly. Wow, these things are slippery. Okay, I'll pick. Thank you, Arizona Raven. All right, Tarot World, you're really in the groove. Would you care to share a message with Ascending Universal Butterfly, please? She's eager to hear what you have to say, Tarot World. She tunes in all the time. I'm saying she, I think it's a she. Helpful, fun message for Ascending Universal Butterfly. Probably something to do with the ascending part, right? That's what's going on. Flapping those wings. These cards are for Ascending Universal Butterfly. Ascending Universal Butterfly. Ascending. Yeah, you wanted to come out right here? Okay. Ascending Universal Butterfly. Here we go. Yeah, nice shine. Okay. First up, it's the Nine of Cups again. That's nice when he keeps showing up. It's the Wish Come True card. You're in a good position. You got all the drinks you need behind you. Wow. You got a bunch of drinks in front of you. It's the Seven of Cups. You're going to have to be careful about which one you drink. Remember that Indiana Jones episode where you had to pick the right one, the Holy Grail. Okay. But it is a wish come true to have all these opportunities. Ugh. Good thing we were talking about this guy today. You know, this guy, the Four of Cups, reminds us all to be grateful for everything the universe brings us. I don't think that's a problem for Ascending Universal Butterfly. I think this is a recognition that Ascending Universal Butterfly sees it all, even if she just looks like everybody else and may look like she may not see it. You're really in contact with your higher self. It's a wish come true. And when you're looking from the point of view of the higher self, there's so many opportunities, even though there's a plan involved. Wow. Then the world comes around and it says, completion. You have arrived. This sounds like a very grounding message. It's happening right now. Where's the Eight of Wands? Well, you got the Three of Wands. You have arrived. And the Three of Wands says, luck is where preparation meets opportunity. Again, you appreciate where you are and all the gifts the universe gave you. You're grateful for being where you are. And that's because you planned ahead. You looked ahead. You took baby steps even just to keep going in that direction. Wow. And what direction was that? You're headed to the moon, the world of the subconscious. The Eight of Pentacles says you're very diligent, and that might be like the biggest praise the tarot world can offer you. They recognize that you've worked a long time and you don't plan to stop working at it. All right. Thanks a lot, Ascending Universal Butterfly. That was fun. I hope it was helpful. Next, it's Julia Anchorhaven. All right, Julia. If you're tuning in to the STARCARD podcast and you haven't checked out Julia's channel, I encourage you to. I invite Julia to put her show's link in the chat and in the comments, likes. Julia visits STARCARD podcast all the time, and I've been over at her show 3 times, I think. Yeah, it has been 3 times. So go check out Julia's channel. She's got a lot going on right now. These cards are for Julia. A fun, helpful message for Julia, please. Yeah, okay. These cards are for Julia out in the UK. Everything's okay in the UK. A fun, helpful message for Julia, please. Creative and hardworking Julia. Here we go. Ooh, I'm using the foil cards. I wasn't even thinking. All right. You know I like using the words. Okay, I'm going to do the best I can, Julia. That's okay. I got a guidebook if I need it. Julia sometimes, well, almost all the time, shows up and tunes in to STARCARD Podcast. Right on, Julia. Thanks for coming to STARCARD Podcast. I really appreciate your support. The Star Card is all about rejuvenation, hope. Ooh, it's the Seven of Cups. Feeling rejuvenated. All those videos at your podcast getting new looks. That's awesome. Hey, it's a picture of you, Julia. Look, it's even monogrammed. The High Priestess. Wow. The Page of Pentacles talks about a new project. Hey, is this what you've been waiting for all along? Because the world says you have arrived. It's the Knight of Wands. Now that you're right where you are, keep galloping. You're heading in the right direction. Remember how you always wanted to go to Egypt? Remember, there they are. There's the pyramids. Yeah, Julia, you're making magic, says the Magician card. Hey, that was fun, Julia. Cool. I hope you have a good day. Thanks a lot. All right. Someone's turning 50 years old? You young punk. All right. Who's having a birthday? Is that today? Wait a second. Is it Julia's birthday today? Well, if it's your birthday, happy birthday. Oh, on the 17th. I'm going to write this down. Time out. Got it. Okay. Thanks, Julia. Next up, Heavenly Cups wants the stained glass deck. All right, Heavenly Cups, here we go. Hey, Tarot World, way to go. You're really in a groove. How about a fun, helpful message for our friend, Heavenly Cups? A fun, helpful message for Heavenly Cups, please. Hey, Tarot World, you might as well show off. You're doing a good job. Whoa. There's your first three cards, it looks like. These cards are for Heavenly Cups. Yeah, I really like the way this deck feels. I like the way these cards feel. All right, great. Let's see what happens, Heavenly Cups. Maybe I can tell you a happy story. All right, first of all, it's the Four of Pentacles. He's the person who appears to be like a miser. He cares about what's valuable, even if he's sitting on what's valuable. I like this guy because he saves for a rainy day. He's preparing for the future. He's not spending needlessly. I kind of like his background there with that object back there. It looks very three-dimensional anyway. Next up, it's the Ten of Wands guy. So we just saw the Ten of Wands in the other deck. Here's what it looks like in the stained glass deck. Ten of Wands talks about a burden, talks about a lot of work. It's a lot of work. protecting what's valuable. Ask anybody who, suddenly wins the lottery. All of a sudden they have a lot of friends. It's a lot of work holding on to what you started with there. How about all those poor NBA players? They come out of college, they get multi-million-dollar contracts. They don't know how to handle money. It's a big job. It's a big responsibility to monitor what's valuable and keep track of it. Okay, and prepare for the future. And then, well, if you can do that, then you're going to be sitting even better as the King of Pentacles. Yeah, check it out. These are almost the same guys. The Four of Pentacles here, he's the guy just starting out, and then eventually ends up as the king. You can see he's sitting in a nicer piece of furniture. Okay, but you have to save for a rainy day, save for a project. It's a lot of work to do that. Next up, it's the Nine of Wands. So the Nine of Wands guy, he's already seen a lot of action. He's an experienced person. He doesn't get excited anymore. He's kind of like that martial artist master who you think is old and frail, but he's just waiting for the right moment to strike, and he can really do damage, okay? Because he knows, he's seen this stuff before. Experience counts. Then we have the Queen of Wands, which is the zest for life lady. And then, oh, how interesting and dramatic, the Hanged Man hanging upside down in front of a stained glass window there. So the Nine of Wands says you have a lot of experience and you may not want to expend any energy unnecessarily, but maybe we're being invited to look at things differently and have a zest for life. It's okay to live a little. And then finally, the Three of Wands seems to be saluting you because you plan for the future. The Three of Wands is the person who says luck is where preparation meets opportunity. You make your own luck, okay? So keep up that good work. Well, yeah, you're doing a good job of taking care of yourself. Don't forget to treat yourself. Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Heavenly Cups. You're welcome. All right, and then penultimately, Arizona Raven would like a reading. We give these a shuffle, and then we'll give a reading to Arizona Raven. All right. Well, I'm going to go back to the Robin Wood deck. Yep, right on, Heavenly Cups. I really appreciate that feedback in the chat. Everyone knows I'm new to this, and when people comment that a message works for them, that really helps me to know I'm on the right track, helps me to build up the muscle memory so I can keep on doing it and helping people. Thank you very much. All right, so let's throw some cards for Arizona Raven out in my time zone. Dedicated StarCard Podcast viewer. Thank you, Arizona Raven. Let's throw some fun cards for Arizona Raven. I'm going to challenge myself again with the Robin Wood deck. I don't like working without the words. Here I go. These cards are for Arizona Raven. Boy, the last reading with Arizona Raven was quite exciting and dynamic. Here we go. Let's see what happens. Ooh, the Hanged Man shows up. That's 2 throws in a row. Look at this guy. What a character. He almost looks like a cartoon character. He's kind of silly. Yeah, now he looks like a ballet dancer. All right. Or, yeah, I'm thinking of the movie Airplane when I think it's Lloyd Bridges had his hair up in the air because he was imbibing something through his nose. And anyway, it was very funny. That's just what that image reminds me of. When we're talking about the movie Airplane, we're talking about fun and parody and silliness. Let's move on here. The Chariot. Woo. So the Hanged Man says, take another look at something. And then the Chariot says, well, take a look at, I guess, which direction you're going. And of course, what you see with the Chariot, there are 2 creatures in front. I think they're both horses. In this case, they look like they're both horses. And you really have to control both the light and the dark to get to your destination. But again, you're the majordomo of the mind. You're the one making it work. Have another look at the direction that you're going. You might have to make a course correction. Wow. This is one of the prettiest cards in the whole Robin Hood deck, I think. This is the Two of Pentacles card. I love the color. I love the scenery. The Two of Pentacles talks about multiple priorities. The guy's balancing. You can't even see the ground. And then you got that thing flying through the sky. Anyway, have another look at the direction you're going. There's a couple of things going on. The Fool says there's a beginning. And the Queen of Pentacles says that someone's being a responsible parent. And then the Wheel of Fortune shows up, talks about luck and cycles going up and down. I wonder if there's a new person entering our lives who's going to turn things around. Because, well, I want to say person. I guess it could. You're out on a ranch. Could be another creature. Is there another addition to the ranch? I'm not sure. The last card is the Magician, creating magic. Have another look at the direction you're going, because you got a couple of things going on. There's a new beginning with a responsible parent, and there's some kind of luck involved, and it's going to feel like magic. I don't know. I tried the best I could. Arizona Raven, I bet you know what's going on. It sounds like it's really nice, whatever it is. All right, thanks, Arizona Raven. Okay, now I'm gonna go upstairs, but I'm gonna come back downstairs. Okay, so let's go upstairs real quick. I finished the list of tarot requests. Okay, so I'm going to keep my eye on the bottom for a moment, but while I'm waiting for any last requests, I got a special request I'm going to take care of right now. I'm going back downstairs. So at the last show, I missed a request from Puck Elf. I'm sorry I missed it, Puck Elf. So when I read that part in the chat, I went ahead and threw 2 cards, and I got the 10 of Pentacles, which talks about contribution and wealth and comfort and family. And then I also got the 6 of Swords, which says that you're being guided to calmer waters from the rougher waters. But anyway, Puck Elf, I'm going to give you a special throw right now. I don't know if you're watching right now, but I know you like to tune in. So I bet you'll use your magical powers and find out that you should watch today's show. Let's throw you some cards, Puck Elf. I'm going to give you 5 cards, Puck Elf. These are for our friend Puck Elf. Can we have a fun, helpful message for Puck Elf, please? You know he likes the message gifts here on STARCARD Podcast. From me and from all of our friends in the chat, thanks for making everyone feel so welcome to everybody else in the chat. I really appreciate how respectful everyone is in the chat. Thank you very much. These cards are for our friend Puck Elf. Let's throw 5 cards for Puck Elf. These cards for Puck Elf. Taking care of our friend Puck Elf. Here we go. Okay, I just saw Lily Eye Candy requesting a reading. Stand by, Lily. Let me take care of Puck Elf, and then, yeah, I'm happy to do a reading for you too. Puck Elf, you're the King of Cups. You're the good leader. You're diplomatic. You have balance, compassion, and control. You're emotionally balanced. And the 8 of Swords in my world says, as much as you can imagine, being that balanced, diplomatic leader that everyone respects and appreciates and goes to. You know, every time someone has a problem, they're all, I wonder what Puck Elf would do. Hey, Puck Elf. Okay. Then I know all of us sees this card every once in a while. It's the 5 of Pentacles. It talks about rough times, feeling like we're left out in the cold. Let's see what it says here. There's a lack of mindset, and there's a little bit of worry. But again, you started as the King of Cups, and then The Four of Wands says that there is a homecoming. And the Page of Swords talks about a new way of communicating and new ideas. So just starting off so awesome as the King of Cups, that diplomatic, emotionally balanced person, as much as you can imagine, it's going to pass right by the tough times. There's going to be tough times, but eventually there's going to be a homecoming, says the Four of Wands. And there'll be some new ideas, some new parts to our environment that we didn't anticipate or see before. Anyway, Puck Elf, it's great to be your friend. Thanks a lot for being a subscriber. Hope you're having a good day out there. Let's go on to Lily Eye Candy. Hi, Lily Eye Candy. Thanks for joining us. Let's throw you some cards. All right. Could we please fun, helpful, inspiring message for Lily Eye Candy? Thank you. This message is for Lily Eye Candy. Here we go. All right, Lily Eye Candy. I'm going to try to take these cards and tell a fun, inspirational story with them. Let's see what happens. Yay! Start your adventure with the Fool. The Fool, new beginnings, possibilities, innocence, spontaneous optimism, trust in life, blind faith, adventure, and opportunity. Next up, all right. Boy, this lady showed up like 18 times today. It's the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles. Nurturing, practical, providing financially, a working parent. It's like you got a new babysitting job. And then, oh, sweet. You got the Queen of Wands. That's two queens in a row there. This is the Zest for Life lady. Courage, confident, independence, focused, zest for life, determination, joy. Again, I'm using the babysitting analogy. You just got your first babysitting job and you're so excited to have a good time. And the Eight of Swords in my book says as much as you can imagine. Oh, wow. And then you got the Queen of Swords and she says you were right. The Queen of Swords, unbiased judgment, independent, clear boundaries, communication, clear-minded, and perceptive. You just got that new babysitting job. You're going to have so much fun. It's going to be great. It's great to have this new responsibility. And as much as you can imagine, you were right. So it's like some kind of confirmation. All right, Lily Eye Candy. That was pretty cool. So that is so Lily Eye Candy asks, is that a general reading? It's not a general reading for everybody, but maybe it applies to everybody. My intention was to throw the cards and send a message to you. I can't promise that, the message is correct. Again, I'm new at this. I've only been doing it since March, but nevertheless, we could take a message like this. Take a message like this and make it ours. I'm at the beginning of something new. I'm in charge of today. I'm the one taking care of me. I might as well do as they say in ancient Rome, carpe diem, have zest for life, turn it into an adventure. Because as much as I can imagine, I was right. I was following my soul's path. I was listening to my intuition. I was being good to others. I was only behaving in a way that floats everyone's boat. Oh, okay. Well, there you go, Lily Eye Candy. Thank you very much, and you're welcome. All right. So I'm going to close up shop for right now. I'm glad I got all the readings I could in there. If you missed me for a reading and you'd like one, check out STARCARD Podcast. My email address is there. I'm sure I could probably squeeze you in and help you out. I'm not charging anybody for anything, but have a good day out there, everybody, and we'll catch you later on in the week. All right. Have a good one. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.